Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Unconventional Outdoorsman. Felt like I'd give you guys and gals a double upload today since I'm not too busy. I thought I'd go over something I think is an important subject, going over different types of high-powered rifle cartridges, calibers, and determining their use, whether it be for varmint hunting, deer hunting, whitetail hunting, any large or small game. So we're going to start with one of my favorites, something I've grown up shooting with my whole life, and that is the Winchester 30-30. So here's a couple different types of shot, or types of ammo rather, that you can use in these rifles. So most everybody knows who uses the 30-30, your basic lead-nosed core-lock type of ammo that's made by Remington, Winchester, and everybody. It's just a basic copper-plated lead projectile with maybe a little bit of lead on the top to help expansion when it hits the target, whether it be an animal or a paper or metal target. So that's basic stuff. You can pick this up basically anywhere. Ammunition is sold for like anywhere from $15 to $30. This is going to be obviously more expensive. I don't think I have the box of it on me, but this is Hornady Lever Revolution. And those of you who don't know, Hornady is one of my favorite types of ammo. Lever Revolution is usually a lighter weight projectile than a normal lead cast or copper-plated lead bullet. It's got a nice little polymer tip on there to help with aerodynamics and better ballistics. It's more flat shooting. For example, if you live in northern Missouri or any place where there's a lot more flat land, a lot more farmland where you'll be hunting deer, whitetail this can definitely help with that. I'll give a little bit of history on this and I'll make an in-depth video, but real quick, Hornady came out with this design of the polymer, basically like a pointed tip type of 30-30 ammo. And the reason they did that, I've got a couple here, is other people have tried it before, but the problem is if you get a bunch of these pointed in a lever gun, let's start there, the tube, so the bullets are facing like this together. They're in the tube, you put them in there. Most 30-30 lever guns can hold 5 to 8 rounds of ammo. My Model 94 holds 7, so you've got them all stacked up in there. And previous companies who have tried this, when the bullet would go off, it would basically sometimes ignite the firing pin and cause a consecutive amount of bullets to be fired out of the tube, which is not good. It's an extreme weapons malfunction, and that can cause a lot of injury. So that is probably one of the most prolific types of whitetail deer hunting. I mean, you could probably even use this for hog hunting. I know a lot of people use lever guns for that. Varmint hunting, coyotes, stuff like that. I mean, if you wanted to, I'm sure you could probably take an elk down with that if you were within range of like 100, 200 yards and you knew where to shoot. Next, we're going to go in sizes here. So next is a 6.5 Creedmoor. Most of you know this is my favorite caliber, and I'll be making a video either later this week or next week about why the 6.5 is my favorite caliber and why I think it is probably one of the best calibers developed within my lifetime. So 6.5 Creedmoor, this is some really good ammo. This is Hornady match grade. Definitely not the most expensive ammo, but by no means the cheapest. So Hornady match is kind of similar to the Lever Revolution in the terms of a polymer tip. Let's open it up here. It is a lot skinnier bullet. That is a 160 grain, the Lever Revolution is. This is a 140 grain, so obviously you're going to get a lighter weight projectile out of this 6.5 Creedmoor, allowing more velocity. The reason I like 6.5 so much is so flat shooting. You can get a lot more distance, and it's got an extreme amount of foot-pounds of energy that is really going to lay some hate down at the target you were shooting at. This type of ammunition, 6.5, is extremely good for deer hunting, elk hunting, hog hunting, coyote hunting. Basically, it can take down almost anything on the North American continent. Of course, when you get into moose, caribou, and stuff that's bigger than that, it's probably not going to be the most effective cartridge, but nonetheless, it is a great cartridge for here in the Midwest, for anything you want to take out, whether it be deer, coyote, elk, hogs, stuff like that. So, it's a very, very modern design. I think what Hornady was going for when they designed this caliber was kind of like a modernized 308. So you obviously get very good ballistics out of a 308. I don't own one personally. My family does, but I don't. So it's basically meant to be flatter shooting, have more range, and keep its velocity at longer ranges. So that is the 6.5 Creedmoor. You can pick up 6.5. This box ammo cost me about $35. Probably cheaper or expensive where you live. This is just stuff I picked up off of a big box store. So next caliber going into is something that's been in my family for a long time, and my dad used this to hunt for like 30 years before he passed, and that is the big behemoth, as I call it, the 7mm Magnum. 7mm Magnum, I will compare it to a 30-30 for you real quick. This is the 30-30 in my right hand. This is a 7mm Magnum in the left hand. So obviously you can see that the cartridge itself, not even the projectile, is way bigger than the 30-30 entire bullet and casing of the 30-30. So 7mm Magnum is obviously a Magnum round. It's moving at some butt-naked speeds, even faster than the 6.5 exponentially. This probably has, I don't even know what the ballistics are. I'd have to look at some charts or something, but I've got a few different types. I've got a, just a basic polymer tipped round here that is extremely good for penetrating. For example, down in southern Missouri where I grew up hunting, there's a lot of brush, a lot of wood, stuff like that that's going to get in the way. For example, there's a twig in your sights and you shoot through that twig at a animal, a deer in specific, you might, the bullet might ricochet off or veer its trajectory and not necessarily hit where you want to on the animal or not hit the animal at all. But it's a very good round nonetheless. A lot of people use it for elk hunting. It's extremely good at that because it basically has an effective range of over a mile, way more than a 6.5 even. So it's a very heavy bullet, very long cartridge. You've got tons of powder in there. It's based off of the 7mm Mauser design, but only in a Magnum caliber. I think Remington designed this round right after World War II, or maybe right before, but it's been around for a while. It's well proven. My dad used this for deer hunting, obviously down in southern Missouri. We don't have a lot of big deer, but my dad's way of looking at it is he wanted to be able to take out anything in that forest that he had to, whether it walk on 4 legs, 2 legs, or no legs. So I guess that would be a pretty effective way of doing it. That's the 7mm Magnum. Now we're going to move up. This is obviously, this next round is not a Magnum, but it is a new firearm that I have in my safe, which I'll be making a video on here soon, maybe within the next month or so. It is the 8mm Mauser. So I said this was derived off of the 7mm Mauser, which was obviously a service weapon by the Axis powers during World War I and World War II. So this is some PPU rifle line ammunition, 8mm Mauser in 196 grain. So that's a very large projectile. Like I said, this is a 160 grain, and I will compare these side by side. So let me get a couple out of here. So the 8mm Mauser is a huge projectile, and it's obviously fired out of the Mauser design pattern rifle. I own one now, which I will be making a video on. So it's obviously not as big as the 7mm Magnum, the shell is, but nonetheless it is moving at butt naked speeds. I think out of the muzzle it has around just over 2,000 feet per second, and almost that many numbers of foot-pounds of energy. It's obviously an extremely big bullet. 160, 195 grain. This is a 30-30 again on the left. 8mm Mauser on the right. 8mm Mauser is not that common. I had to source this ammo from a guy in Kentucky and have it shipped to my house. You can find it around here every once in a while. They don't make too much of it anymore due to the decrease in supply. Therefore, there's not going to be as much demand, or decrease in demand, so therefore there's not going to be in supply. I had those backwards. Now, there is tons of surplus ammunition. I think this is new ammunition, but you can obviously go on websites or ammunition sites or whatever to find this ammo. Tons of surplus stuff, and this is a good deer hunting round, elk hunting round. Basically, we'll take down anything on the North American continent. I'm sure there's people who have taken out elk with this, maybe even caribou. It's a very good round. It's been around since 1888, which is even before this round here, the 30-30 was designed. So it's a very good round. It's an extremely effective round. It's well proven. I mean, it served in 2 world wars, so I mean, it has to be somewhat good. It was chambered in bolt-action rifles, semi-auto rifles, and machine guns. So that is obviously a very effective cartridge. One last look at all of them, and I will hold all of them up here in a second just to compare them size-wise. And yeah, then I'll let you all go and enjoy the rest of your day. So we have the 30-30, the 6.5. I guess I should have done the 8mm first since it is smaller. See if I can move my chubby little hands to hold all of these. Let's do 2 hands to hold these. Oh boy. So there we go. There is the progression of size. And these are all very effective high-power rifled cartridges and calibers. Obviously, there are tons that I'm not going into here. I mean, obviously, you could probably include 243, 270, 308, anything you can name. I'm sure it'll work. Any of these are legal to hunt with in the state of Missouri. Obviously, I wouldn't use a 7mm Magnum in like Poplar Bluff like my dad did, or around thereabouts. We're close to that area. closer actually to Springfield and all that, but nonetheless in the foothills of the Ozark Mountains. But very good calibers nonetheless. Personally, for Missouri, my favorite would probably be the 30-30 for central to southern Missouri, and the 6.5 for northern Missouri and western Missouri, where you get more of that flat land. All right. That is today's second video for y'all. Hope you all did enjoy, and please click that subscribe button if you haven't, and smash the notification bell. And I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you very much.